6:04. Any public comments?
No public.
Changes to the agenda?
Just have one ad under new business. We need to do an approval for Flatland Solar, which is discussed when Ken Nolan was at our last meeting. We'll talk more about it as it comes, as we get there.
Any other changes to the agenda?
That's it.
Okay. Review and approve minutes for February 10th, 2026.
Thank you for doing them, Tyler.
I think I made a mistake and I'm trying to find it because I thought I messaged you the mistake and
Oh, did I miss it? Or did you
Is it
not
the one
message
that I
it?
pointed out?
Yeah.
to you? It was really simple, I think. It was, ED asked, and it should be asked.
Oh.
Or asked.
set it up here.
Oh,
I tried sending it and it looks
Will
like.
asked the select board.
Oh, fourth line down.
Yeah. From
Second page.
Yeah. Yeah, I sent it and I just sent it to myself, I guess.
You'll know when you get home and find it.
I'll have to make a motion to approve the minutes of February 10th, 2025,
As amended.
as amended.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? All right, the minutes for February 10th, 2026 have been approved as amended. Financial report.
so a couple notes before I go through the financial report. John just pointed out that I mentioned February under statement of receivables. That should be March. A statement to the receivable section on the memo. And then the other thing that was called out in the statement of debts account, all the totals are staying the same every month, which I have corrected, and I will leave up here for you to be able to see that information as I go through this.
Do you know why?
Why those are not correct?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't using the sum function in Excel correctly. As of March 1st, 2026, we had $46,773.35 in our checking account. We received $151,227.84 in payments and $39.59 in interest, while paying out $144,603.70 in checks and ACH payments. Our money market account has a balance of $47,229.94. $1,000 was transferred in for tree trimming on February 19th, and $2,500 was transferred in for property taxes on the 11th of February. We received $66.51 in interest in the month of February. Our current operating account balance is $70,549.08. We have $1,240 in outstanding checks. Our money market balance currently is $47,229.94, with $31,663 unallocated. Any questions on the statement of cash before I move on to debt? Debt is very similar to what we've been seeing. We currently have a balance of $58,387.73. We haven't received our statement yet, so that is an estimated number on our truck loan, and $607,093 on a VEPSA loan. The VEPSA loan is an interest only deferment until July 1st, 2026. Statement of receivables. In January, we received $32,065.42 less than we billed out. On February 16th, we billed out $155,576.35 in electric bills. This is $16,327.98 less than what we budgeted, but we were over budget from the previous month, so it kind of balances out between the two. So far this month, we have collected $117,055.03 with bills due on March 15th.
On March 15th?
Yeah. We currently have $20,213.94 in 30 days plus receivables, which Amanda's been really great at keeping that at that 20,000 mark. If you notice, when I sent your packets out, that was at 22,000 or 23,000 in that range.
So 26.
26. So she's collected 6,000 this week on that number. So she's been great at calling, working with people, and getting that number ticked down. So just wanted to call that out. Overall, I'd say we've had some really good couple of months in the sense that we haven't had to tap our money market at all for 5 months now. We have been, Amanda's been great about keeping payments coming in. Our customers have been good about paying. They had some tough months to pay, and Amanda's been working with them. And I think overall we're in a pretty good financial position right now compared to what we were even 6 months ago. So I feel good about it. Always famous last words when you say we're feeling good, right?
Can I ask a stupid question?
Sure.
So what happens in the statement of debt where the VEPSA loan is interest only?
Yep.
Deferment until July 1st. What happens after that? How much more is that going to be?
It's going to be a pretty big payment. I can send you the schedule.
It's 13,000.
It's 11. The first month is 11,000, but it's it's 11,000, but it's a I don't know what the official term for it is, but it's a descending payment.
Yeah.
So it starts the highest payment, and then every month becomes a smaller payment instead of equal payments like you would pay for the mortgage.
What are we paying now?
Right now, just pay $2,780 in interest, and we will be paying $9,000 in principal plus.
So where's that coming from?
That's more putting in a rate case.
Okay.
To do that, and hopefully we'll maybe have some leftover that we can start making. We'll have something.
Yeah, if we can build up a little bit of a surplus
Exactly.
right now.
But that's the whole
And
point of
collect some of the old.
We're
the
on
old-
right. We're on deferment right now because we need a rate case in order to do that. To make those payments.
Seems like a lot of big jump to go from.
But we got to pay $600,000 down in 5 years. Is what the terms
But to
are?
go for however long you've been at 2,000 to go then to.
Yeah.
That there, so it just doesn't,
Well, the interest rate's gonna go down as we progress.
Interest stays the same. The principal payment goes down.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have a hunch. It's just my hunch, but I have a hunch the Department of Public Service is going to tell us they don't like the descending payment.
Keep it.
They're gonna want a flat so that you do one rate case and that rate case will cover your payment for the next 5 years. Whereas we do descending, in theory, we're gonna have surplus cash. You remember that we had that conversation with FEPSA, and I think that the Department of Public Service may say they don't like that idea. But the idea is that, yes, the hardest payment's the first payment, but then in theory, it'll free up some cash that we can put into savings as we continue to pay down the loan. Which the Department of Public Service wants us to have 6 months of savings, of operating savings in our savings account. That's something that they're telling us.
We're a couple of years away from that.
We're at least a couple of years away from that.
So your only savings then that you have,
It's 40,
savings account is the money market?
correct.
So we currently pay 2,780.
Yep.
And we're gonna go up to 9,000.
Total of 11,000, be 9,000 in principal and the 2,700. I don't know. I could just give you the exact breakdown. I don't know
Somewhere in the
off
range
top
of
of my head.
11 to 13,000. It's just.
So that's gonna be in July, but we have a rate case coming up and
Effective July 1st.
but the billing, I don't know.
It's gonna start before.
No, the billing that comes in July 1st.
Um,
July 15th, I think is technically what it is, but
personally, I don't think we're gonna have any leftover anything because when are we gonna start purchasing from VEPSA, we're gonna have to purchase some more, correct? Or are we just purchasing all along? This is what the bills are.
yeah, the CDA is what we're
Okay.
purchasing all along.
So they're gonna go up.
Yes,
They're gonna go up. And they're probably gonna go up quite a bit.
9% this year, but we budgeted for it. It'll be included in the rate case that we're
Okay.
submitting.
So a rate case is what's called, as I told you, these were stupid questions. What we're all gonna see on our bill for another increase.
The
Yeah.
surcharge.
Okay.
And I mean, the reality is we may get a couple years where we don't have to do a rate case. But the reality is the current energy market is demanding, in all likelihood, a rate case every year for the foreseeable future. I mean, I told you at the last meeting, we were purchasing power at 55 cents a kilowatt hour and selling it at 26 cents a kilowatt hour. That's not sustainable. I mean, that's not going to work long term. So it's not just us. Green Mountain Power is going in for their 7-year rate case right now. And I guarantee their numbers are about to go through the roof. All over New England, we're seeing it. And unfortunately, it's the nature of what energy costs right now. It's not really anything. I mean, where our budget is down year over year, we're budgeting lower expenses than what we did last year. And our costs are going. I mean, it's going up from every other perspective from purchasing power. Contracts.
So the amount again that we were paying was 2,000 on this VEPS alone.
2,780 is when we were.
Okay. Got it. It's just a little overwhelming when you see all these numbers separated by words and you can't see it in a format until you look at something like that.
So I mean, just to give some perspective, we currently bring in about $100,000 a month. It give or take based on the time of year. Sometimes we're in the 160,000. Sometimes we're in the 80,000 mark, but average about 100,000. And we pay VEPSA about 60% of that in costs right now. So our bill for this month for power cost is 81,000. This month I'll have to kind of we might want to get into this a little bit more. It's a little longer conversation, but maybe not now. But essentially our purchase power we're we're what's called hedged. We're 95% hedged, which essentially just means we're protected from price increases at 95%. We're the highest, I think, of probably all the utilities in the state of Vermont, but definitely of all of EPSA members. So that protected us at that 55 cents a megawatt hour. And selling it for 26. We were protected because essentially we just bought our power in advance. Not all utilities do that, but during the summer, what that means is we're probably overpaying for power because we're buying in advance and we're not getting the lower rate. So it's kind of a balance, but I think for a small utility like us, it protects us from those big jumps. And so we were protected, and we actually having to pay 81,000, but billing out 161,000 this past month. We actually we're in pretty good shape right now because we're able to pay our bills. Once summer comes and we start having a little higher costs and for the power, we have a little bit less margin there. That was a quick and dirty. I can definitely explain that a lot better for you if maybe outside the
Lighten it up a little bit.
I'm not that worried about the payment for BEPSA as long as the rate case does what it's supposed to do. If it doesn't, if we don't get what we're asking for, then we're going to be in trouble. But I don't anticipate that being a huge.
I'm just concerned about rate cases being the answer for everything. That's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about trying to squeeze water out of the stone.
Yep. Unfortunately, I think that is a global energy market concern right now. I don't think that's something this table is gonna. I don't know if there's any triggers we can pull to stop that. Unless I'd love to ask Carrick Johnson if we can put a diesel generator or a natural gas generator out our building and just put Jacksonville on that generator. But the state of Vermont would make that be illegal in the state of Vermont. It'd be cheaper for us to do that, to be honest with you, to just literally put a 1 megawatt generator out there and just run the whole thing on one generator, than to pay these transmission costs and everything. But unfortunately, the state would never allow us to put non-renewable energy source on our grid. We could put solar, but that's going to cost more. Hydro is going to cost more. So we're kind of in a stuck position right now, unfortunately. And all of us are. It's not just Jacksonville. And yeah, unfortunately, I think rate cases are it's the only way we can make more money than what we currently do. We can cut costs, but I don't think there's a whole lot to cut.
Just you have a certain amount of customers in your area, and once we hit a certain point, that will stop people from wanting to move here, as well as force people out of the market. It's just.
It is. I mean, I have people constantly call me saying they're going to switch over to solar, go off the grid and switch over to solar. I have people call me probably once a week, twice a week, and say that. And
how many people actually follow?
So then I explain to them. I mean, it's difficult. You can't really do that in the state of Vermont because the size of the battery you would need is unbelievable. Because winter you really can't do that. And so I mean they go down that path and it's pretty quick that they come back and say, well, we really can't just go off the grid. You can supplement, which is fine. But the reality is ISO New England in particular is very stretched then right now.
We need the nuke plant.
Boy, they're working on it. I'm surprised how fast the state's moving on that, but it's
small thorium reactor,
Yep.
the size of a freight truck.
Yep. The governor has already told us that is a very short-term range plan is to put Vernon back online as a mini nuke. But he needs legislation to do that. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. They're saying it would be 8 years before.
It'd be 10 years is what I'm being told. 10 years to rebuild. All right. Sorry, I don't have better news. But I think that's a good
You never have better news.
it's a good conversation to have because I think yes, it's easy for us as Jacksonville Electric to say we're struggling to figure out how we can do things differently. Every utility in honestly most of the United States is struggling with the same question. ISO New England is exorbitantly worse than every other utility in the United States. ISO New England is the worst placed regional distribution network in the United States. So it's a tough place.
Regionally, are our rates
Well,
favorable?
Vermont is the lowest of ISO New England.
And Jacksonville is where in the state?
We're below Green Mountain Power, we're below Vermont Electric Co-op, we're below Washington Electric Co-op, and we're below Barton. So we're top of the municipals,
Yeah,
but lower than the non-municipals. And just to give some perspective, I mean, Massachusetts, you're paying over 32 cents a kilowatt hour. We're paying 26 right now.
And what's the health of the other municipals?
Better than us.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have 600 that I'm not going to say they don't have $600,000 worth of debt. They don't have a half a year's worth of their budget in debt. So that definitely puts them in a much more favorable position. One of the challenges the other municipals are facing that we don't have to worry about, and I think this is actually a huge benefit to us, is almost all of them own hydro. And hydro, the state hates hydro right now because of the flooding issues that we're having. And they're fighting major uphill battles. Swanton is looking at a $39 million renovation to their hydro with 4,000 customers. We don't have to deal with that. Morrisville is just trying to sell it. They're just trying to get out of it and can't sell it. We're one of the few that don't generate anything, which is fortunate in my opinion, because a lot of them are struggling with how to manage this beast that I mean, you think power costs aren't controllable. Hydro costs are very, very much not controllable. And it's great when it produces. And then when they either produce too much water or have a flood or state tells them that the fish are in the wrong spot at the wrong time, they have to shut it down and they can't produce anything.
Oh,
That's just
Get you or shut the car off. I keep forgetting. One day I put it in the garage and
at least you remember now.
I went down 4 hours later, it's still running. He come up, give me the paperwork, and the car's running.
I didn't hear it running.
The button, if you don't push it all the way in, it
Yeah.
don't shut off.
I have the same problem with the Subaru.
I like the keys being able to pull out.
Yeah, me too.
So you can lock it in the car.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, right.
I think we got into this because we had low rates for so long
Right.
and we didn't make changes.
Yeah, for 16 years.
Yeah.
And now it's
And
supposed to be scary.
Now we're taking out.
And what I would say, Tyler, is once this debt is paid back to VEPSA, I think we're actually going to be in a pretty good rate position
In 5 years.
in 5 years, because that's what's over our head right now. We could stay if we didn't have that debt, I feel pretty confident about where we are right now and not doing a rate case. I'm feeling pretty decent, but unfortunately we have that debt and we need to pay that back and we need to come
So
up
if there
with
was
money
any
somehow.
extra money, like $1,000 or $2,000, you could pay on the principal.
Yep.
Anytime.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I have 31,000 in a money market, but I want to recommend.
Oh, no, I just.
No.
mean
But yeah, in theory, we could put
break
that.
somewhere.
Oh, you're saying as we're making payments, we
Yeah.
could throw a little
If
bit.
there
Yes.
was a break somewhere,
Yes. Okay.
if the budget came under.
All right. I'm just, I wouldn't want to plan a picnic for 5 years time from now.
Okay, I'll bring the beans. Beans are working.
So a receivables or no?
Yes, no, it's gonna be the payables for it. All right. So payables, total payables, for this month is $123,271. Of that, $81,805.98 is for power purchase. So just to give some perspective of that breakout, which means $24,817.83 is not for power purchase. So that's not on there. I just wanted to kind of give that breakout.
Almost stopped.
So BEPSA is the power purchase, and then is that. That's just my note. You don't need to include in those, but I figured
But that's just the CDA.
that's just the CDA.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the actual cost of the power.
Yeah.
And the transmission. So just to quickly go through this, water purchase for $40, the gross revenue tax, $6,800. We did have an issue this month, a little bit of a emergency, I guess is what I call it. Where I think I had mentioned that we thought our thermostat was failing with the heat. It failed, and I had Don Foynier come in and work on it. That's the old thermostat. If you take a look at it, it's actually burnt. It was being overloaded, which was causing the problems. So she replaced it, but then had to come in and do some other work to had to come in and do some more work for separating it out so it's not overloaded anymore. So now we have two thermostats that run the heat. So it's not overloaded. So that was $970. That's that electrifying.
Yeah.
Just so you know on that. We did put a Wi-Fi thermostat in. So that is something that we can program to not be running when we're not here as much. We can turn it down to 50, 60 degrees. So that I think will hopefully save us some electric costs in the long term. Greg Brown for the bucket rental, heating oil, Haverleck tree trimming. That's our monthly expense on that. I have some mileage that I didn't submit last month. That's for, I believe it's expense. I mean, but I can look it up if there's questions on it. Lakeview, plowing and sanding, Primer and Piper legal services for our rate case. Town of Whitingham for liens on properties. Village of Jacksonville electric bill. See that $575 electric bill is what we're trying to cut down a little bit there. Beamers, that's the retirement plan. W&W building supply, just some tree marking spray and conduit that we had to buy that we built out to the customer. Then we had card stock paper. That's for the annual meeting, annual report, hardcover for that. It ran out last year. Credit card charges, $209. Those credit card charges include reception 24/7, which is our receptionist when we're not here. Uma, which is our phone, Adobe software, and then I think you probably remember that I had a couple of garbage cans that I had ordered on Amazon for like 20 something bucks, and it sounded like a great deal. It was one of those too good to be trues, and Amazon refunded us our money, but I had to go buy 2 garbage cans from Walmart for $60, total $60. But Amazon did refund us the charge on the garbage cans that we purchased. They never showed up. Northeast Delta Dental, that's our vision and our dental insurance. Gross fuel tax is $770. MVP healthcare, sales and use tax of $1,014. Then we have kind of our small VEPSA bills. So this is our our financing charge, the interest, guess I never updated that. That was $2,800.75. That changes based on the number of days in a month. So so that's our finance charge for that 600,000. Miscellaneous engineering services. This is for the recloser. I'm sorry, the regulator control panel that we talked about replacing up at the metering point. Green Mountain Power asked us what our settings should be, and I had no idea. So Green Mountain Power was saying you need a full system study to tell us what it's going to be. So I called BEPSA, and BEPSA pointed me to this engineer and said, the engineer said, you don't need a full system study. You can just do your basic thing. But he charged me $220 to tell me that. So he told us what all the settings are. We're good there, but it did cost us a little bit there. Eldorado software. That's just our monthly payment to BEPSA for the ongoing working of the net metering stuff and things within Eldorado. GIS mapping, that's our mapping information. Project 10 expense, which is our diesel generator that we get pretty much all coverage. We pay in, and then the next month we get it all back. The res, this is what we're paying for renewable energy right now, is about $2,500 a month. Because we don't have 100% renewable or whatever percentage we're supposed to be at this point. And then Microsoft 365 licenses. And then we have our CDA purchase at $81,805, which is our actual power purchase, and our fuel cost of $79.70.
So you would say that that's a penalty fee?
Yeah, kind of.
And what do we need to do to get off of that?
Get more renewable energy.
Okay, like,
Put more solar in, buy from more renewable locations. The problem is there's really nothing selling right now. We buy credits in advance. We buy 8 years in advance our credits.
It's always a problem.
And there's really nothing more to buy. That's when we get into our conversation on that, we're going to take care of some of this with that. But unfortunately, our requirements go higher and higher. By 2035, we have to be 100% renewable.
like what?
2035.
And by that time, they'll probably change what renewable means.
Yeah, well, there's a bill right now to change the standard from renewable energy standard to clean energy standard. So it doesn't have to be renewable, but it has to be clean. So that would essentially allow nuclear. Right now, nuclear is not, it's clean, but not renewable. And so that's why nuclear is off the table. We can't buy it. It would hurt us more than it would help us. So we can't even buy it from Rhode Island or Connecticut or New York, or we can't buy it from anywhere. For us, it hurts us more than it helps us. That's what I have for costs.
Want to make a motion to accept the payables?
I'll move that we pay the payables.
Someone second that.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. All right.
Does it help for me to go through it like that? I know it takes a little bit of time, but I think it gives a little more clarity. Okay. If you ever feel like you don't want me to do that, tell me.
Well, some of them are recurring costs,
Correct.
and I think if,
Highlight the ones that aren't so recurring.
yeah, the recurring costs, like the water, it's $40.
I don't need to explain that. Yeah. Okay. Kind of highlight instead of going through
And
each.
our
of them.
electric costs
Is what it is.
it is what it is.
Well, it's helpful to me because then I can.
Well, that's what I was thinking for the new people in particular. I mean, obviously, as you know what CDA means.
Yeah.
And you
It's a
use
lot.
Don Cornea instead of Bo.
Yeah, we have to have a licensed electrician, and she has a master.
Are you pleased?
I was. She is very responsive. She came in one day. She actually came in to get approval on another project she was doing. And I said, actually, our thermostat crappy bad. Would you look at it? And she was here the next morning. And did a great job. It did open up the wall a little bit. I'm just gonna leave it opened up right now. I don't think we need to pay for somebody to patch it right now. But it's she kept it really clean and she is putting together a quote generator just so we have a sense of what that's going to cost. I don't expect to do it, but just I already told her that. Yeah. So we know what we have to save for if we do decide to put a generator.
Yeah.
Payroll. Total payroll. Total payroll is $12,885.89. The linemen are kind of submitting every couple of months. So I think Greg submitted his this month. But you'll see that like Randy didn't submit any time. Dale didn't submit any time. So it's kind of depends on the month. It's like every couple of months until it hits a little bit. They don't.
Do you have
submit,
the
so.
figure for last month? I don't have
I
any
can
notes.
pull it from the packet from last one.
This was curious.
It's around that 12.
See who gets it first.
Would it be any different if they did submit more regularly?
It would just be a little higher every month. Well, no, probably not because you'd have.
It would average out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for us.
Yeah.
I actually am kind of liking how they're doing it because
Okay.
what happened was before I was getting it every first of the month. So I'd have a huge payroll the first of the month. Now I'm kind of getting it on week 3 or week 5. Like everybody submits them more random, and so it's a little bit smaller. I used to have a payroll that was $8,000 of one payroll,
Yeah.
and now it's 2,000, 3,000.
Yeah.
It's not as bad.
Okay. It's curious.
There's not one in this one. Oh, that's right. In the I wonder if I have it in here. When I sent the pre-meeting packet last week, it didn't have the payables because I completely was blanking on it.
Did you write it in
But it was $12,090.50 last month. So it's right around 12,000.
$800 difference.
Yeah. You're
I
welcome.
will move that we accept and pay the payroll warrant.
Someone second that. I'll second that. All in favor?
your?
Aye. All right, payroll has been accepted. Managers report.
Relatively small managers report because the VEPSA meeting was pushed back until tomorrow. Usually it's the first week of the month. This week it's the second week of the month. So tomorrow I go up to Waterbury. So it's a little bit smaller because I don't have any VEPS updates. The rate case, second round of discovery questions have been submitted. The day before the Department of Public Service was supposed to submit their recommendation on a rate case, they asked for an extension till March 19th due to illness. It's essentially in our best interest to just agree to that. Unfortunately, it delays the rate case. So we did agree that they could extend it. So we don't have an answer on a rate case yet, but it's coming.
But it won't affect the implementation of the rate case.
No, we've already implemented. It's just a matter of it extends it a month. So AMI update, our DCUs are expected to arrive next week. I shouldn't phrase it that way. They're expected to ship next week. So we have that prepared that they're actually going to be delivered down at Riggs because they have a forklift and they'll need a forklift to get them off. And then Randy will bring them up with a tractor when he has a minute to bring them up. But that's great because then we can start installing those 9 DCUs around town. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but there was a press release on DV Fiber and us working together on this project. It was sent to Deerfield Valley News, but with the timing of the town meetings and everything, I think it's been delayed a little bit, but we do expect that it will go into Deerfield Valley News. Was sent to Reformer too, but I don't know if they'll publish it.
What does DCU stand for again?
Oh, data centrific collection. It's a data collection unit, essentially, is what it's supposed to be. So there's 9 of them that'll be placed around town. They have antennas on them, and the meters talk to those DCUs. They're plugged into fiber because then that information goes out to Aclara's website and is available. It's most of the time it's on cell. We'll actually be the first ones in the state to use fiber. But the expectation with fiber is that we'll have instantaneous response. So if we put power back up with cell coverage, you might ping a meter and it takes a little longer for it to respond. With fiber, it's expected to instantaneously respond. So we can ping a meter while we're in the field. We can ping a meter and say, is this still out? And we'll know if we fix the problem.
From a distance.
When's
Yeah.
the expected meter installation?
We have ordered our first set of meters. It's the basic meters is what I'll call them. It's 720 of our 760 meters are this one kind of meter. So those have been ordered. I anticipate around May-ish. We might get them.
This
Coming May, yep. The expectation, VEPSA is still telling us they want everybody installed by the end of the year. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we're going to try before winter.
when is there going to be public relations on that?
As soon as we get our meters starting to come in, well, I'm hoping a little bit before then. VEPSA's PR person needed to be replaced and has been replaced with an agency, but they're behind on.
Why is it VEPSA's responsibility to inform our customers that we're putting meters in? Just question.
We can do it. VEPSA that's part of VEPSA's responsibility with this. Yeah, we were paying VEPSA to do it. It's being done by VEPSA for all the other utilities. And so it's not something, I mean, I certainly can do. I actually prefer to do our own door hangers because I think they're going to be a little bit more branded to us and we can be a little bit better about it. But VEPSA, that was something that they could do.
Is there any legal reasons why? No.
No. The only VEPSA may be able to explain better that this is using radio frequency instead of like essentially it's using same thing as cell coverage is using. So if you're, the argument is if you're using your cell phone to call us and tell us you want to opt out, you're getting more radiation than if you just have a meter on your house. That's what we're being told is there's more radiation on a cell phone than there is in these meters. So it's different than Green Mountain Power. Green Mountain Power uses a different technology that actually has more radiation in it than what we're using. Ours is just radio frequency, which is why we have DCUs and they have meter conversation. Anyway, sorry, that was a big side tangent again. Other questions? I think that's good. I do plan to order those magnets that we had talked about of calling outages in and stick them onto those door hangers as part of it. I said, since we're going to each house anyway, I think that's a good time to include them there. And then we'll have some in here as well so customers can grab them.
Is that going to be when Richard reads meters so that maybe a second person could go?
It's going to be like 10 at a time. It's a little bit slower of a process. It's going to be in between. We're going to have probably we're probably gonna have a few months where we're reading some meters and we're using AMI for other meters. I'm not looking forward to that time. People,
AMI.
yes, automated metering infrastructure, I believe is what it stands for.
Metering.
You're asking all these, what are those?
We need the acronym.
Acronym. We need an acronym. sheet.
Acronym dictionary here.
There's a lot of them.
Well,
I know what they are, but I don't know what they
Amanda
stand
was
for.
kind enough to get me a list of what the abbreviations are. And these
Really?
DCU was data collection unit.
It stands for
AMI,
something else, but that's
close enough
It's
so I
close,
can
yeah.
remember it. And AMI is automated metering
infrastructure.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, the whole world just has way
There's
too
too
many
many.
abbreviations and you just either nod your head or go, don't think so.
I just would like to have it, put out, early enough to give people, an opportunity to opt out if they want to and not have any blindsiding.
Mhm.
I didn't know this was happening. I didn't want this. I didn't hear about it. I don't want to.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Swanton sent out a notice 6 months before they did their meters and had a terrible time with people for the next 6 months asking when they get their meter, when they get their meter, when they get their meter. And it became more complicated than what it should have been. So the feedback from that and other, we're like the last utility doing this, just to give some perspective. We're one of the last because we're in the last tier of it. The response that we've been getting is you tell them a month or two in advance that you're going to be doing this and that they have some time to opt out. But the feedback that I'm also being given is even if they opt out, they need to get a new meter. Because what all the other utilities are finding is that their old meters are running slow, very slow. So it's great for customers. So they're not being billed for power that they should have. And so
I think mine's running. But
so the feedback that we're receiving from other utilities is they're getting a new meter either way. It can be a smart meter or it can be a not smart meter. Their choice. But opt-out rate is, I think Ludlow just did theirs, and I think they had 6 people opt out of 4,000. The vast majority of people are not opting out.
Yeah. Well, what's the percent of out-of-state homeowners?
Yeah, out-of-state homeowners want it. I honestly, I've had multiple people come in and ask me when they're going to get AMI, because it gives customers the ability to see 15-minute intervals on their usage. They can plug in a new appliance and see what it's doing to their electric bill. That's huge, as opposed to waiting a month and figuring it out.
If there was a problem somewhere.
If there's a problem somewhere. And that's the other thing is we'll be able to see the problems. We'll see all of a sudden a customer spiking. Why are they spiking? And we can call, that's one of the things we do is when we do meter readings right now, if a customer all of a sudden has a high bill, this happened with John Ferguson a couple months ago. He had a huge bill and we saw it on the meter reading. We called him and said, I don't know what you're doing, but you're using a ton of power before the bills even got sent out. And he said, yeah, I know, our furnace died and we had to turn on electric heat. But that's something that's nice about small utilities that we can do.
And nice that they called you.
Yeah, that we're able to call them before they get their bill. First of all, give them a heads up, you're going to have a big electric bill. And second of all, hopefully correct it before it becomes a huge problem.
Yeah.
Um,
I ran into that one after the flood. I was running a dehumidifier.
Dehumidifier. Ooh, they're killers. All right. So that's AMI. Tree trimming work for 2026 has begun on Bernard Road. If you haven't seen it, definitely take a trip up there. It's slow right now. The snow is keeping him from being able to do kind of like a hit the ground running work, but he's kind of once a month coming and doing a little bit of work. 2026 audit is, I think I said in the last meeting that March was our audit. I don't know what was going on with my brain then. It's the beginning of April. April 2nd and 3rd is our audit. So they will be in office for April. I have asked them to attend our meeting on April 14th. But they're not sure if they will have an audit ready at that moment for you to be able to ask questions about and to approve. If they don't, we may need a special meeting in May. I'm sorry, in late April, beginning of May, depending on timing, for you to approve the audit. Because then once the audit is approved, we can put the rate case together that is due for July 1st. So there's timing needs to be moving forward. So we, just as a heads up, there may be late April, beginning of May, may have a special meeting just to discuss the audit with the auditor,
And the audit is all your books here or?
all our financials. So that's a yearly audit done by KBS. Last year, actually, since I've started, when we did our audits, I haven't had them come to our meetings, so that you could ask questions and you could hear the feedback on the auditors. With Hyde Park, the Hyde Park situation that's going on, that was something that was never done with their boards, where the auditors were able to express what was going on. And so the board was claiming that they didn't know the situation. So I want to make sure that you are all aware of the financial position that we're in, so that you can do what you need to do, and have full understanding of where we're at and can ask questions. That's just a transparency thing that I want to make sure we do.
Is there a monopoly on audits?
Yes, there's one auditor in the state of Vermont that will do electric utilities. Is that what your question is?
Yeah.
So if you remember, we put out RFP because the auditor was like 20 grand, which is more than the town of Whitingham pays for their audit. And we had one come back, and it was the one auditor that we currently use. And they used the opportunity to increase their rate. So I think it's a 3-year contract, and in that 3 years, I think we're supposed to go up to 25,000 before the end for 3 years for our audit.
How do I get into this?
I know, right?
Yeah, AI do it?
It used to be that we audited, people in the village audited us,
Yeah.
but apparently that's not allowed anymore. Has to be licensed. Battery storage. Ken Nolan met with Clean Tech Industries on March 6th, which is, I think it's last Friday, to discuss our battery project. They're putting together a proposal for Jacksonville. More to come on this. I did not make it to that meeting. I was meeting in Burlington, and I did not get a chance to go. But there'll be more on this.
Could you have zoomed on it?
Yes, but I never got an invite. It got caught in my spam filter, and I did not know it got caught in my spam filter. And it was a whole to do. But yeah, I did not make it to that. I will be on future ones, related to our battery. The grid grant. The Department of Energy has officially approved our grant. That's a $369,000 grant. We have a 20%, 15% match on that. This is for tree trimming. My initial calculations show that it will cover 2 to 3 years worth of tree trimming, all at one time. So we're in year 2, there's 7 years. So I think it'll cover 3 years. So we'll have maybe 2 years left after we're done with this project, with this money. So that's huge. It'll get us through Route 100 and all our main lines. As we mentioned before, that cost share percentage of it, VEPSA is going to do a loan for that, and we will repay based on what we have budgeted for our tree trimming every year to that, to replenish it. So that's kind of how that will work. I believe VEPSA already said that's going to be a 0% because all the utilities will be doing that at the same time. I'm going to be working on the RFP next. I've already started working on the RFP. It's a bigger RFP because it has the federal guidelines of what you have to be in order to get it. I've already had Nate, Felton, Trevor Haverluck, and Joe Saladino have all expressed interest in bidding on that. So hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll have several choices and maybe get a little more done than we thought we were going 2022. Green Mountain Power metering points, as we've discussed, they're talking about doing 3 metering points on our grid. They are still very interested in this. I've had a few meetings on it. There will be no cost to us on this. We're not sure if Green Mountain Power will, it's kind of up to us. If Green Mountain Power does the work, there'll be a section of line that we need to upgrade to get the voltage to what their voltage needs to be between Houghton Road. At the end of Houghton Road, both sides on Burrington Hill. If you take a left at Houghton Road or a right, that whole section needs to be upgraded to 7,200 instead of 2,400 volts. And so there's essentially that's just transformers need to be changed out to a higher voltage transformer. So it's an upgrade for our line, which is great. Green Mountain Power will either do that for us or we can do it and charge them for it. That's kind of depends on how much work it is, whether we can handle it and what their timeline is. But either way, we get a line upgrade for doing it. So, and that we've already worked with VEPS on how we're going to bill for that. So we'll make a little bit of money off wheeling power to them as well. So long term, there's income from that. If we do a battery storage, there might be some more income by keeping their customers up when we're feeding them on a battery, potentially.
What's that RFP stand for?
Requests for proposals.
You know what GMP stands for?
You know what DOE stands for?
Yes.
Department of Energy?
Yes.
Okay.
Or education.
And what did
Do you
you
know-
ask me, Marty?
DMP.
GMP.
You know what DMP stands for?
Yeah.
Do you know what VEPSA stands for?
Public
Part-
Power Supply Authority. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
There's no E in there when you say VEPSA, so it's just V. It sounds like there's a V.
Yeah, it's not.
It's silent.
It's just,
Yeah.
There's a lot of people say VIPSA too.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Vespa.
Or VEPSA. Yeah. DPS utility review. So the Department of Public Service, DPS, is as I mentioned, they're going to be doing in-depth reviews of all public utilities in the state of Vermont, considering the Hyde Park issues. My first meeting on this is March 25th, 2026, from 1 to 3 p.m. That just got scheduled last week. So I will be in that with Amanda. You are, I suppose, welcome
Right
to
here?
attend. It'll be here. You are probably welcome to attend, but I anticipate there's going to be a trustee portion of this that you will likely have to attend. So I'm not sure.
That's
how
the
involved
on
you
a
be this one.
Wednesday.
This is it's supposed to be the management review and discussion about what we have available and what we don't have available.
So I was looking at that.
You want to
This.
discuss it now or do you want to discuss it later?
We can discuss it later.
I have it as a bullet point to discuss a little
Okay.
more in depth.
Yep.
Wednesday. Yeah. So that's going to be that. This is a big thing. This will bigger than our audit. Let's put it that way. Our audit this is the first time ever doing something like that. Department of Public Service is really going to come in and rip through our everything and figure out what we have.
Through our everything.
And then supposedly the commissioner is going to come present to you guys as a board what his findings were, which I think it's great. I think
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what he says because the expectation is that we will. I know we've kind of come a long way because we didn't have full-time employees 2 years ago. Now we have full-time employees. And so essentially we were here, we're now here. The department wants us here. They want us to be Green Mountain Power equivalent. And if we're not doing what we're supposed to do.
And he had to sit at this table.
And so it's going to be interesting. And that's what we're all saying is, we all have boards. We all have management who is telling us from the community what the expectations are, telling us rate cases can't be going like they are. And the department's also telling us, I don't care what your boards are saying, you need to have 6 months worth of savings.
Well,
And it's,
they either want us up here, or they want us selling to.
but
Green
they
Mountain
don't
Power.
want us to sell because they're the ones that have to
They
deal with
might
it.
say that.
They don't want us to sell. Not this commissioner. The old commissioner, definitely. This commissioner, he understands the point of public power, but he thinks they should be held to the same standard as Green Mountain Power. And the argument we're all kind of making is, well, we don't have to be held to the same standard because we're a local.
Well, maybe Green Mountain Power should just forget about paying dividends to their shareholders.
Right.
Then they wouldn't have to charge as much.
Right. Exactly. So it's an interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they say.
And you'll let us know,
I'll let you know when all the meetings are.
no, the 25th.
What do you want to know
You
about?
said that one would be on Zoom. And you didn't know if we should be here.
I can find out more tomorrow. I know it's supposed to be management, utility management, and the Department of Public Service.
No
Are supposed to. So I mean, depends on what your definition of management is. But I do believe some of the utilities have already had these meetings, some of the bigger utilities. So I think I might have some, like Swanton may have already done theirs, Ludlow might have already done theirs. So I may be able to ask them, would it be beneficial for my board to be in it or not? And so if I find out more, I will let you guys know. Outages this month, Pratt Road, there was a call for high voltage. I was sick. And so I was not available. The linemen were not available. So I called GMP and I said, there's a high voltage issue. And they came out and blamed the customer's solar. The line guys and I were all skeptical of that. And so we went back out, shut off their solar and remeasured, which is what I told Green Mountain Power to do. And sure enough, the voltage was high, even with their solar off, which means it's our issue, not the customer's issue. What wound up happening is, I guess when they came down to look at the regulator that is being replaced, they shut off the manual override that we had turned on, which made it so the voltage was high. So I wasn't too happy with Green Mountain Power that bad.
And what do they charge for the,
So it's their
for
fault,
no
not
information?
us.
for wrong information?
And the worst thing is I told them how to check, to shut off their solar, check it, and then turn it back on and see what happens. And
Have they sent a bill yet on that?
I have not received a bill yet, but I did have a meeting, and I was kind of told, well, you either get our services or you don't. That was kind of expected, but they had their vice president of operations on the call to tell me that. So I think we'll see, but they're getting our feedback. But I don't know how much we can push it.
How does a customer know that they have high
He
voltage?
has solar, and so when solar, so solar, in order to push back to the grid, your voltage actually has to be higher than what the grid is. So you have to have higher voltage. So solar is set to.
Makes a circuit.
Yeah, so essentially voltage is set, like our voltage is usually like 250 volts. We usually are pushing, so when solar is pushed back, it's like 255 ish. And our grid was actually sending at 260, which is way higher than it should be.
So it's on
So his solar just said,
Screen.
can't do it. We can't produce that much voltage or we're gonna break something. We're shutting off. And so he got an alert saying voltage is too high. And so he's the only one. He's the end of a line. And there's never been solar on that line. So we're still trying to figure it out. And then of course we have a regulator on that line that doesn't do what it's supposed to do because the control panel is broken. And still waiting for that control panel to be replaced, which is also Green Mountain Power. We did have one other outage today. So it's not in the packet. It was a squirrel on a transformer. Our guys took care of it. We were out. It kind of exploded when it touched the transformer. So Dale was impressed with how much of the squirrel was not left. I've never seen Dale impressed by him, but he was. Line extensions, we completed one line extension this month. And then we have one that we're waiting on right now. BEPS updates tomorrow, the meeting, so no update. Are you good, Tyler, to move on to the next? Okay. So the next thing, I tried to, in a condensed format, consolidate what we agreed on last meeting. This is so that we can include this in the rate case. Essentially just saying this is what decision we made. I just need a signature on this from all of you so that we can include it in our documentation for the rate case.
So the little margin,
The margin.
that's, okay, never mind. I answered my own question on the little triangle.
Oh, yeah, it's just how I copied from Excel. Yeah. Did I word that correctly?
Um,
The only thing I think I might have added was that I said it was next 4 years to make it clear that this is a recurring thing. This isn't something that's going to go up and then come back down. The department wants to see that this is recurring. It's not. You get what I mean? It's something. If you have an expense that's a one-time expense, they won't let you include it in a rate case. If
Yeah.
they have something that you know is going to continue, it's not like a bonus or anything. It's a salary increase.
so the ending 2029
Yep.
salary. Is that a little bit higher than what we said?
I will tell you in a second.
This is where I wish I had my notes from last time.
Yeah, I tried to find, I couldn't find it.
HR, this one. This one.
It looks like I have 112,496 for, and
Yeah, I do too. Why would that be off? And then 48,502. That one's right. Why would that one be off?
Can you make that any bigger, Jim?
I'd love to. That's the number that we're looking at.
There it is.
That's what you had, Tyler, was that 112,496.24.
yeah,
So why did I have this different?
Something got added in when it shouldn't have.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it's something to do with the 8578 being calculated wrong. I can adjust that at the end of the meeting and then we can sign that. Is that okay?
so I think it's started. I think the increase is kind of. It's like $200 more. Oh, wait. It is, but I wanted to go back and look at the last meeting because we kind of did a hybrid version of what you proposed. Like the two different models, either 3-year or 4-year.
Yeah. Well, you did the 4-year with the option to make it 3-year.
To review it
To
in a year.
review. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it is still a 4-year.
So
It
it
should
should
still
be
be
the
that
4-year.
112. Because I think the total number was what the total number was. It was just a matter of did we do it in a 3-year or 4-year term.
So I think it's supposed to be the increase.
Yeah, why is the increase the same number all the way?
Why wouldn't it be? You're taking,
Oh,
the
I see.
increase,
Yeah.
dividing it by 4.
Yeah,
essentially.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. But again, I
So
was taking.
instead
steps, I
of
took the wrong number.
8,578, it was 8,329.
And you have change there,
There's no,
even?
yeah,
Okay.
and same with the office clerk.
That one should be right though, right?
It's
Is that total?
it's right there, but it's basically a rounding error.
Yeah, that's kind of
Because it's only off by 42 cents.
which that one I had to do because I can only, in our payroll system, I can only put in even numbers. I can't give a rounded number. And I assumed we wanted to round up versus down, because if you round down, you're not giving what you approved to give.
Yeah.
That one I remember doing because it came out as like 0.09 cents, and I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I will redo that after the meeting because I have to rebuild this Excel document that has this, and then we can just sign it before you guys all leave. Is that okay?
So I don't know if it's appropriate to have a discussion about this or not. Or if it needs to be added to. I did not express anything at the last meeting based on I guess kind of lack of knowledge, and then having some time to think about it. I guess if it's okay, I'd like to just say what I feel like I should have said. And I'm not going to be popular right now, but I am not going to say that James is not worth the money. But I am extremely concerned that Jacksonville Electric is getting too big for its pants. And it is concerning that there was something presented to us based on information that you had gathered by going to a meeting and seeing other people's pay within the industry, and then bringing it to us. And that's what it's based on. Could be right, could be wrong. But I'm concerned. I'm concerned with where Jacksonville's going, and I recognize that there are, ticks off that are being looked at that weren't before. But we're answering this raise with another rate case. We need to dig ourselves out of the hole, and you've just went through a very long explanation, and that you feel that we will be there within the 5 years. We haven't had a review, and I would assume that that's appropriate. But I'm just concerned. I'm concerned with how it happened, and I think it's great that there was this sort of compromise and a look at it with Tyler, and kind of a breakdown. But I guess I just feel like I needed to just express that I have people coming to me, and they are asking me, why are we having these rate cases? And they're concerned, and I, I can say, look, it's outside of our control with the cost of power that we have to purchase. And now I can say, well, we're also putting a penalty because there isn't any, enough renewable, there's things that are outside of our control. This is within our control. And guess I'm just stating concern. And I don't know if anybody else has, the same feelings or concerns as I do.
I have the same feeling. It's scary.
I mean, I've expressed as much as far as rate cases go earlier in this meeting. And this partially is for that next rate case, if I'm not wrong,
We,
if I'm not mistaken.
we were supposed to push this through in order to get to the
Yeah.
next rate case.
So I believe that's why we also earmarked the ability to review that, hopefully to contain or better express what's going on before we get to the 2029 season. Granted that we make it to that. But also we really need to have firm outlines of responsibilities for what each role is, what their role is in this company. And I think one, we probably should pass this for the putting it in the rate case with the sole concern that we will review it before next March. And in the interim, we should probably have a special meeting to really tackle the roles of each employee. And any other matters that may arise during that discussion. But any thoughts or discussion on that?
I think a special meeting is in order for that. Again, it was just like a whole bunch of numbers at one time.
Well, these is basically the same numbers we saw last
August.
right?
August, they were put together. August is when the numbers were given to me from Pepsi.
No, what we saw at our last meeting.
Correct.
Didn't we see this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Apparently I typed in something wrong that I gotta adjust, but other than that.
And I'm not saying that, James, you are not worthy of that level of pay. I'm concerned that Jacksonville is looking at a,
We're on life support.
We won't last the 5 years to see that.
I think this goes back to what Ken Nolan has said multiple times is there's an expectation in the state of Vermont of what a utility is able to do and how it's going to function. And we as a utility need to decide if we want to be a utility or not. You either are going to be, and the state is going to make you do the level of what the state expects, or you can just say you're done and sell to Green Mountain Power, and Green Mountain Power will charge the same amount, if not more, to do the same thing. And
So-
that's the challenge. That's what Ken Nolan has always said to me about what the expenses look like for Jacksonville. Is it's a tough thing, and all the utilities are having the exact same conversations. But that's the reality is the expectation of a utility has changed so much in the last 3 years in particular, and they're about to change even more with what Carrick Johnson's doing right now. Vermont is the most regulated state in the United States for public power utilities. In Massachusetts, if you want to be a public power utility, the state says go ahead and do it. Vermont does not. Massachusetts general manager cannot come to Vermont and have an understanding of how to run Vermont utility. It's so different. 90% of my job is dealing with the state, not dealing with customers and dealing with.
Break that down for me with what the state's regulations, what regulations or require. The
So
West.
the state on a monthly basis has 4 reports that we have to submit. Any customer can complain to the state with the Public Utility Commission, and that would open an investigation. We've had one since I've joined, essentially just saying what we need to do. The rate case that we have to put together is the most comprehensive rate case that you have to do in any state in the United States. We have to make sure that the energies we're purchasing is hitting the renewable energy standard requirements.
Isn't that VEPSA's responsibility?
It's VEPSA's, but it's also mine. I have to come to you and get you to get an understanding of why we have to buy solar in Swan to purchase it, because I can't just say, yes, I want to do it. So VEPSA has to do it for us, do the actual buying. But my responsibility is to be the politician between the state, VEPSA, and you guys. And I hate to say the word politician, but that is 90% of my work, is being a politician, getting an understanding of what is needed from the state, what's provided from VEPSA, and what we are able to do and how we do it, creating a path to that possibility. And to be honest, a lot of my work here is being a politician. I mean, it is. I have to play politics here at this board meeting. I have to put my personal views aside and do what's best for the company. That's my job. That's what I'm hired to do. And quite honestly, that's not the salary I want, and not that I think I deserve it. I have applied. I mean, I had applied for another job because I thought I deserved more. But that, it's what it is. I represent you guys and this board, and my job is to make sure that when you guys make a decision, that I'm able to make it work for Jacksonville. And I think I do a pretty good job. I think over the last, I do agree that we haven't done a review, and I think that's something I would love to do. I haven't had a whole lot of feedback in general from the board as to whether I mean, I know, Jen, you've expressed some concern about moving towards a business versus like kind of running more like a business and less like a public utility, I guess, is kind of how I still am not sure exactly, but I know that was something that was expressed at one point. But I haven't really heard a whole lot of feedback as to, are we moving the right direction? I know the state has a requirement. The state is telling us you have to do this if you want to be a utility. We haven't done that. Quite frankly, we have not, until I started working here, done what the state told us we had to do. And that's why we're in the position we're in. So I think I was hired to do that. I think I've done a pretty good job with the resources we have available to do that. But we're only halfway there. That. There's a lot more to come. There's a lot more costs to come. And quite frankly, if we're not feeling like we're ready to do that, the state's gonna pass us by and shut us down.
And
that's-
that's like they want to do that anyway.
I don't think they want us to do that. They want us to be at a level that we need to be at. And I will tell you, as your general manager, we are capable of doing it. I am seeing a lot of other utilities that are way worse positioned than we are. But if we're having that conversation, that's a conversation I need to have Ken Nolan be part of as well, because he would be the person that would have the most knowledge about what a utility takes to run as a public utility. And if there's concerns that we're not moving the right direction, or that I guess I'm not clear on the concern. I'm not sure. We have to move a certain direction. There's no choice. The state, we have to do it. So I'm not sure if the concern is that we can't afford it. We
That's
can't
part of it.
do it, period, that we're just not capable of doing it. I'm not sure what the salaries aside. I'm not sure what the because that's something I could work towards having a better understanding for you guys. Again, affordability to me isn't even a question, because unless we go more expensive than Green Mountain Power, which I don't foresee us doing, it doesn't matter. Nobody else is buying us except Green Mountain Power. So if we're cheaper than Green Mountain Power, then we're doing something right. And there's no point in selling. But if we're not, then maybe that's a different conversation. But I don't
Well,
think that's
we're
gonna happen.
a municipality. We aren't Green Mountain Power. We're the most expensive municipality.
No, we're second highest, but yes, we're on the top tier.
So, I mean, I try not to compare us with Green Mountain Power, because it's like apples and oranges.
Yep.
We're both electric companies, but we're two different beasts. And it seems like regulators don't understand that. It seems like, in all honesty, that the EPSA is kind of like an economic hitman for the state.
What do you mean by that?
They help bankrupt municipalities so they can be bought by Green Mountain Power. It's just
I'll have to work on that.
that's just my opinion.
Right. I'll have to work on, I think that's a challenge for me to, help help the board better understand the role of BEPSA. That's my opinion. I don't, BEPSA does everything they possibly can to not let a utility go under. They took on Hyde Park
Yeah,
to stop them from going bankrupt.
They're definitely there.
The state was going to shut them down, and BEPSA said, let us try to save them first. So
They're not the first. Thanks, figured it with,
Hardwick had a manager who stole money. That was the second most recent one. But I mean, I think I could probably do a better job of trying to help you guys understand, and all of us in general understand the roles everybody plays, maybe.
I mean,
That might help.
we need a better grasp on everyone's role and have it firmly defined. And
I mean, I can give you
And-
job descriptions tonight. If that
Yeah.
helps. I don't know if that helps or not, but I have them right. I mean, I have
I mean,
office, the general manager.
less of a broad stroke than
That's not it. That's the old one. I mean, that's my job description, which is updated every time I do anything new, do any changes. I want to make sure that it's ready to go. If you guys ever need to replace me, this is literally printable and ready to go. Oh yeah. Yeah. After the meeting, I can print it out. And then the office clerk, we have as well.
I would say that 10 years ago, you didn't have anything that looked like a job description. From my,
and it was I mean, in between the 10 years from when Pam was here and now, it was a mess as well. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
She got buried, didn't she? Like overwhelmed.
She held it
she,
together.
yeah,
She held it together and she did what was necessary and I think
but it was
she was
When-
bringing in the money.
when,
but
never had
she wasn't even coming close to the expectations that are outlined in what we're going to be subject.
She was not a general manager. We haven't
She
had a
was not.
general manager.
No. So
She put together an audit, she put together, every year. If that came across her desk, she would come to the board, display it, and she would probably have what's necessary presented. I guarantee you, she would have,
but
she wasn't able to attend any of the meetings. Joe would go and on occasion and give us some of the little snippets when there was
did you have a
something.
rate case when she was here?
I don't know if we had one. We might have had one, but I can't remember. And I know it was brought up a few times. I think it was, not well received.
And I could be wrong, but my understanding was Pam couldn't handle it anymore, and that's why Mac was hired to assist her. Is that correct? I mean, why did Mac come in otherwise?
To assist her. I
Right.
think,
My understanding is she was swamped and couldn't handle, but not that she couldn't handle, but that there was too much going on and needed a
Plus the
second
billing.
person. Yeah, because she was trying to take the billing in, she was trying to do everything. And, I mean, and then it was, we haven't had a rate case because we haven't been able to put it together. We haven't.
But she held it together a long time.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to take anything away from Pam.
Right.
I think she did a great job with what was expected of her. But if you look at the continuum here, it was definitely a mom and pop operation. And now it's a corporate operation. It's different. It's so different. The expectations are different. And I think that in order to handle this, you need to have someone in place who's capable of handling it. I think James is capable of handling it. I think he's doing a good job with it. We're getting hung up on the salary issue because we've been spoiled, frankly, getting this electric company running on the cheap. I haven't had any increase in my bill until recently. And it's been a very reasonable increase. It's certainly less than the cost of inflation. when I first became a electric company customer, I think my bill was around $40 or $50. So it's more than double that now. But that's 50 years. You know, inflation has gone up a lot. My house is worth 10 times what it was when I paid for it, but my electric bill is not 10 times what it was. I think Jacksonville has been a bargain. And we're having some pain right now because we didn't increase our rates incrementally. And now we're being faced with increasing them in larger increments, which is painful for all of the customers. But it doesn't mean that we should shortchange our employees. Our employees that we currently have did not get this organization in the condition that it is now. Trying to get us out of the swamp. And from what James had said earlier, it's going to take us 5 years. That's an honest appraisal. Not sugarcoating anything. It's going to take time. It's going to take some pain. And we are going to have expenses that, you know, are hard to swallow, but the things we have to do. We have to do the tree trimming. Got to do that. It got behind schedule because we didn't do it.
That's not true. We just did less of it. We did tree trimming every single year.
I-
We put 50,000 into tree trimming every single year. We've just now doubled that. That's all. We've doubled it so
And
that we're a little more on top of it. And it was always asked of to increase the tree trimming and it was always put off. And it
that's what I'm
was
saying.
voted by-
It gets put off. So you're not really on schedule, the schedule that we should be on. So it's not the fault of Amanda or James that we're where we are. It's the fault of how we operated for the last 15 years. I think I see light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see darkness.
Can I suggest, it sounds like you guys want to do a separate meeting on this. So what I'll do is I will work up this with the corrected amount. And then I will have that available for you guys during that special meeting, whenever you do it.
Now,
I don't know why we're doing this again because we already agreed to this. If you look at our minutes,
I expressed in the beginning of my statement that I didn't have the courage to say anything. None of us had any dialogue. And I am now putting myself vulnerably out there, expressing the concerns that I had that I couldn't express because I choked up in fear of expressing myself. I'm doing that now, vulnerably expressing concern. I am going to say it again. I don't say it as if I think James isn't worth the pay. I say it as a concern. That's it.
Yeah.
And I agree with what Tyler said, that we should go ahead. It states an outline of 4 years, which feels as if we're, because it's going to be submitted for the rate case, James has expressed, would like to see it extended on, it looks better or whatever. Signing this is a commitment to the 4 years.
I think we
You-
already
you
made the
said-
commitment.
You said that we.
I believe that we earmarked or put in place that we would review it after 1 year.
Correct, we did.
So we're for sure, we accepted that we would accept the 4-year plan with the reservation of reviewing it after the first year.
1 year.
And the reason I asked to have that put in the motion, the review, is because we were vacillating between, should we do a 3-year plan or a 4-year plan?
Yeah.
And the reason I put that in the motion was so that, given a year of reflection and, some more dialogue, that we can see if we wanted to advance this schedule,
Right. Well,
to shorten it to a 3-year schedule.
it could also psychologically have accepted, have been accepted by other board members that maybe we got too hasty after the year and might want to reflect on it that way. And therefore, I would be okay with reviewing it after a year because that doesn't, it could shorten it. You could
Yeah.
do it in 3
Yeah.
years, or we could be like,
Maintain.
we're actually in some dire straits and might want to reflect on it more
Sure.
that way. So it was put in for one reason, but it could have also been approved
Yeah.
by others
Well,
for
I
another reason.
also wanted us to have a chance to have a review with James, because we haven't done that. A review is not a
Yeah,
1 week thing.
no,
It takes a while. Have to be some instruments that we find that are used by other utilities that might be useful to us. We have to find a tool.
but so I, for one, am okay with that.
Oh, you
Pat.
want it,
So are you asking me to remove
No,
extra 3 years or keep it,
No,
but say
keep-
subject
keep
to
it
go?
at-
There, just get the right numbers.
get the right numbers and
so this is gonna come back to us next month?
Next year.
No,
No,
no.
this needs to be,
For-
I'm gonna have you guys sign this.
after
It's gotta be
Okay, so
tonight.
just-
I'm gonna have to do this adjustment and either you guys come in and sign it
or
tomorrow or whatever, whenever you guys get a second, or you can wait and I can sign it. If you don't do it.
Finding this is simply to
This is just approving this.
memorialize what we did last month.
That's what I'm hoping to do.
Um, not exactly sure if that needs a little bit of revising, but the last sentence. But regardless, I'm okay with continuing to like accept it at this meeting.
Yeah.
But I do want to have a special meeting, to go, not just over this, but to go over and with like a fine tooth comb, the general manager and the clerk, all the roles,
Yeah. the job
and make
description.
sure everything
And you can.
sounds right and we can actually track it
Yeah,
easier.
because any assessment of James's work ought to be based on his job description.
Exactly.
Which I will say, because what I can do, I can print your original job description that I was hired on, and then what I've updated to. There's very few updates, but there have been updates because of the realization of the role. Somebody needs to do it.
Yeah.
And we need to do it, right?
And, yeah, and
You know, like one of the
change
things,
the number of employees you have
right,
and what the roles of the people are.
right. One of the things is public relations. It does not say anywhere in my job description that I have to talk to the press. Somebody needs to talk to the press though. When they call, somebody needs to answer and they're calling me. So that is something that has been added to my job description that wasn't expected. But yeah, I will print those out and then you guys can schedule a meeting, or do you want me to
I think if you are able to do it,
You can print it out tonight.
Yeah, no, I'll print it for tonight, yeah.
yeah,
But, you
Also-
guys will schedule a meeting amongst yourselves. You don't, I assume
Yeah.
you don't want me there, or do you want me
It needs to be an open meeting, right?
there? Or you can go into executive session and
Yes.
discuss.
Whatever, either or.
I'll work with you on that.
But when, I mean, I guess it's a moot point at this point, because we're gonna send that tonight. But if we were gonna have a special meeting before the audit, I think it's moot.
I think it's gonna, that special meeting is going to be closer to beginning of May. I've been told by our auditor that he is out of the office at the end of April. So unless he comes in and has a perfect audit while he's in our office at the first week of April, he is not thinking he will have a draft until beginning of May anyway. So I anticipate that special meeting will either be the week before our normal meeting or just be our normal meeting, depending on what timing is. But the problem is we really have to get the audit, or we have to get the rate case in for May 15th for a July 1st start. So if we don't have audited numbers approved until the second week of May, we're really tight on our turnaround time. So that's why he's saying maybe a special meeting somewhere in there to get approval, even if it's the first week of May. It's just one more week that the auditor or the rate case people have.
All right. Are we good on the salary?
Mhm.
Okay. More into the 2026 audit.
I think we've pretty much discussed everything I had for the 2026 audit. That's, you guys know it's coming. And it was just scheduling, making sure you knew there might be a special meeting coming up.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all. I haven't heard much. We sent over a ton of information to them. It should be pretty quick and easy when they get here. It'll be 2 days. I think it's the 2nd and 3rd of April, or 3rd and 4th, something like that. I think it's Wednesday, Thursday, so I think it's probably the 2nd and 3rd.
What's DP? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're running
What?
the show.
DPS utility review.
So the Department of Public Service, as you know, is doing an assessment on all utilities. The commissioner has confirmed attendance at tomorrow's meeting where he plans to discuss this assessment. He has agreed, so the original proposal from the Department of Public Service was 8 pages long of requirements from utilities. BEPSA has worked with the commission to make that smaller, so now it's about a page and a half-ish of requirements. So that makes it a little bit more reasonable. Again, they based this list off of what was missing from Hyde Park as well as what they're getting from Green Mountain Power. You have to remember Green Mountain Power submits a rate case. I think it's either 5 or 7 years. I believe it's 7 years, essentially a documentation of this is what we're going to do for rate cases every year for the next 7 years. They submit that. They're a regulated utility that is for profit. They're the only for-profit utility in the state of Vermont. So they're the only ones who follow this procedure. Every other utility in the state of Vermont is a public utility and falls under a different procedure. And so as part of that, they get more reviews than what we get from the Public Utility Commission and the Department of Public Service, but they get it once every 7 years. We get it every year we want to do a rate case on a smaller scale. We're running into a position where we have to do it every single year. And so now we're winding up doing more work than what Green Mountain Power has to do every 7 years. And so that's been kind of a challenge. And so that's why they've been trying to make this a little bit smaller, a little bit more easy to handle. So we have our audit our rate case and this all happening at the same time, just to give some perspective of my time right now at state. I'm doing all three at the same time. He has agreed to work with larger utilities first. Obviously, larger utilities are going to have more of the things on this list than the smaller utilities. We are the smallest utility, so we get to go almost last, if not last. I haven't really.
You ought to
seen the
be
full
well
thing.
practiced by then.
Exactly. So the hope is that, they'll start and see these larger utilities don't even have this. They have 4,000 customers. The 700 customer utilities definitely not going to have it. So hopefully they'll know the expectations will be a little bit more reasonable by the time they hit us. So we do have our first meeting on March 25th, 2026. It's a manager meeting, that management meeting with Sean Enterline. I've never heard of him, but all the VEPSA people seem to know who he is. I think he must have used to work for VEPSA because they all seem to know him pretty well. They call him R. Sean. So I anticipate that means they know who he is. But I don't know who he is. That was actually, he was assigned to this in the last month. So this is new since my last VEPSA meeting. At the meetings, Sean will want to discuss availability and provision for each of the meetings. VEPSA originally had planned to go through this list with all the utilities and come up with the documentation first. That is now changed because they are starting the meeting. So now we're going to have a meeting with the Department of Public Service first, and then go through the documentation and figure out what we have. It's a little bit flipped. So we'll see how that goes. There is a push from the Public Utility Commission. Now, keep in mind, we have the Department of Public Service and then we have the Public Utility Commission. The Public Utility Commission is the quasi judicial branch that oversees everything that we do as a utility. That Public Utility Commission is also concerned about Hyde Park, and they are essentially coming in and saying that they're going to have their own requirements on top of what the Department of Public Service is saying. The commissioners kind of trying to get the Public Utility Commission to wait until we get this done, and then the Public Utility Commission can come in and say, okay, this is what's missing. But they're not sure. There's a lot of legislative push on getting this done. And so he's not sure he'll be able to hold off. We may have another hearing that comes in where the Public Utility Commission is also having a hearing on top of what the department is doing. So there might be more to that, but we're not sure. This is a big deal. As I've mentioned before, this is the only time ever in Vermont history that they've ever gone through every utility and done an assessment like this. There is a belief that we'll start doing this kind of on a 5-year schedule-ish, maybe, which I think is good. I think this is helpful for us to make sure we're doing what the state wants us to do.
And hopefully give the state a little bit more of an idea of
How
they
we
should
function. Absolutely. And keep in mind, the Department of Public Service doesn't oversee us. We don't report to the Department of Public Service necessarily. We report to the Public Utility Commission. The Public Utility Commission's here, we're here, and the Department of Public Service is here. They represent ratepayers. So when we work with the Department of Public Service, that's actually a good thing, because that means we agree on something before we go to the Public Utility Commission. So that's actually, I think it's really cool. I'm excited for this. I think I'm a little more excited than other utility members are, because I think there's a little more, I think this kind of thing is exciting, and I think it'll go well. I think we're going to learn things, and I think they're going to learn things, and I don't expect anyone to get we recommend this utility should close. We expect over the next 5 years for you to create a path to getting to this point. That's what I expect to come out of this. And I think that's good for all of us. It will take work, it will take time, it will take energy, it will take money. But I think it benefits all of us in the end, so that we all don't become another Hyde Park. Feel free to take that with you guys if you
I
want
have a
it.
question on it.
Yes.
The timeline, last third page,
Third
the
page.
bottom,
Yeah.
November 25th and January
Oh, yeah.
26th have already passed.
Yep. Those are out of date. I'm told he wants to have the initial findings by July, I believe is what it was. Either June or July, and August to be the final draft. And again, that's gonna be pushed based on what the department, or what the Public Utility Commission wants. If
Yeah.
they want it earlier, it's gonna happen earlier. This is everybody drop everything you're doing and focus on that situation at VEPSA and obviously here. So it will be the priority.
What was that last thing you just said? It's depending on what the PUC?
Yeah, so the Public Utility Commission comes in and says, we want these documents now. Then we can't provide it on the department's timeline. We have to provide it on the Public Utility Commission. So these may be escalated.
But if PUC
Gets
follows through with this comment that you put in here saying they might
Do something.
do
earlier.
something,
Correct.
but we don't, okay, there's,
So far, they're not, but there is legislation in there giving them within this legislative period. There is current legislation that would give the Public Utility Commission the authority to do that and the responsibility to.
is it,
It's out of committee, I believe, and in,
you know, the bill
I
or the act?
I can find out.
Sorry. Like paying attention. now.
Legislature has an opportunity to kind of scroll one more area of Vermonters' life.
Yeah. My hunch is, I'd like to say that
Every time they get in there, they mess it up.
I'd like to say that they won't pass that bill if Carrick can keep them at bay.
Yeah,
Because Carrick's a very lively guy. If you've ever seen him,
it's a strong person.
he's an Irishman and he is a strong personality. And he has already told them about this. He's already been in committee, told them about this process, and he is very eager to get this underway. And he is personally overseeing it. That's why I say I think the final deliverable, he will actually be the one in person. I asked him if he'd come to Jacksonville and do it, and he said yes. So, because I think it would be good for all of us to be in a room together and discuss what that means. That's all I have.
New business, hometown heroes.
Hometown Heroes. So the town of Whitingham is coordinating a Hometown Hero banner purchase for Old Home Week. I'm sure, hopefully you've seen this. Maybe you've seen this. But essentially, they're doing all the organization for it. But they have asked if they can use our polls, first of all, which are jointly owned by Consolidated, and Consolidated have given us permission to use them. And they have also asked if we'd be willing to hang the banners and brackets on the poles in the best way that we see fit for it. And so I've kind of given the tentative, yes, I think that would be okay, but I wanted to bring it to the board and make sure you're okay with it.
Those are those kind of hang out like
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
like Wilmington has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
Rectangular.
Yeah, like Wilmington has. Yep. Except they'll be the hometown here, like
Right.
this guy served in this
Yeah.
war, and
so what's the projected cost on hanging those banners?
I anticipate they probably can do. I mean, it's just like
How
zip
many?
brackets. The expectation, so they're ordering 20 brackets now. So that we have so there's more time to install them, so that we can just slip the banner on it. I anticipate we probably can do, I mean, it's literally just like zip, like it's not like, almost like a zip tie, but
you
the
gotta
metal.
Run the
You gotta
truck there. And
Run it, put it up, and of course it's Route 100, Route 112, so we'll have to do Richard and I for traffic. So there's a little bit of time there, but I anticipate 20 an hour, probably 5 minutes, 5 minutes each probably. So I guess it's not 20 an hour. But,
I would say 10 an hour.
10 an hour. Yeah. And I mean, who knows how many they're gonna be? We don't have any returns yet. So The hope is by Memorial Day to have some. We're starting in Jacksonville and then we'll do Whiting.
When are they gonna be put up?
Before Memorial Day is the first round. The second round will be before Old Home Week.
Okay.
So we're getting brackets have already been ordered. So that we can, and a sample banner, so we can go up and get the brackets there, so we can just throw on the banners before Memorial Day, in case it's tight turnaround
Yeah.
time. That'd be 20 of them. So I want to make sure there's no objections to that. We're the ones with the bucket and it's our poles, so I think it
We
makes
charge the
sense.
selectmen for the time.
I can try if you want me to bring it to them.
Well, I mean, we're not in a position really to be offering charity. Bring it up. It's,
Okay, I can bring it up.
I mean,
Um,
they have a budget for Old Home Week.
Could I offer it at cost?
Yeah.
So instead, we usually charge $110 an hour for labor, but we only get our linemen are paid 70.
Yeah.
So can we charge at 70?
Yeah.
An hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I would see for 20,
You could ask. the
There's
linemen if
probably
they're
3
willing to
hours.
do it.
That was my original. I was hoping they would just volunteer to do it when I talked to them about it, but they didn't. So that, yeah. What were you saying, Tyler?
I'm just thinking it probably will be 10 per hour, but it'll be probably 3 hours for 20
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
if I'm realistic.
And you said it was Linda Harrington?
so she just called and said she was interested in 3 banners. You're asking who's coordinating it? Gig. Gig is in charge of court. To be honest, it was my idea to do it. We actually got one of these and I said, well, Jacksonville can't do it. We can't afford it, but the town could. And so that's how the town got into it in the first place. But I think it'll look nice for Old Home Week and it'll dress up the town. Yeah. And economic development has already promised $3,000 towards like sponsorships. Like if somebody can't afford to buy a banner for their family, the economic development committee will pay half, up to half. So they're $200 banners for each of the families.
Is that how much they are?
200 a piece for each of the banners. Yep.
That's a rip off.
So we
You
originally,
could probably get Howard, no. What's the other one?
the Howard printing.
Howard Printing or the other one, they kind of closed down their store, but they work from home.
Beasties,
Ink, something.
custom ink.
What I was told is the
Anyway.
reason these are so expensive is because they have weather, like
Yeah, they
fade
end up on the
resistance.
ground and then the trucks run them over. Wilmington's,
Are
Christopher's
they on both sides?
enjoying that
Yes.
as like something to lay on when he's underneath a car because Wilmington doesn't want them back.
Yeah, because they have a 3-year life. They say 3 to 5 year life, and they, yeah, I mean, once they come down, they're down. You have to get it.
Are these the ones that have the pictures of the
Yeah.
servicemen on them?
Yeah. Howard
I've
Printing.
been to some.
Little shopping.
Want me to call Gig and have her shop around too?
I'm sure some of the townspeople would appreciate it,
Having the,
getting a quote from
Yeah.
multiple.
Well, we were originally saying the town was gonna pay for it, and then we realized $200 a piece. We got 100 people. I mean, that starts adding up very quickly.
Yeah.
And so we said, you know what, this is something we really can't just pay 100%, but if we can sponsor. What?
Christmas is over. You know.
I know this is the Christmas one. I don't have the hometown hero. They come out on Memorial Day. I'll have another one in a couple months. Okay, so I will bring it back to the town and ask if they'll pay at cost for the linemen to hang those. the next one is,
The,
You need a motion on that one?
Yeah, do you?
um,
I don't think so.
it is up to you how you feel about it. I don't feel like I need a motion, but I will take one if you're willing to
Especially
give
if the
one.
town's gonna pay it.
Yeah, the town paying a cost, I don't see why we need it, but,
Not just operational.
but if you're.
No.
If anything, if the town comes back and says no, then I will come back to you and maybe take a motion on that one.
APA?
So the American Public Power Conference, so this is a conference that's held every single year. This is the first time in 20 years it's held in Boston. VEPSA and NEPA are both at, NEPA is Northeast Public Power. It's actually New England Public Power Authority. I think it's New England. I don't think it's Northeast. Because it only is New England states. And VEPSA are both asking that all members attend because it is the first time again in 20 years, and likely the last time we will have it in our area for 20 years. Obviously, we're not likely to fly out to any other city to go to it. So this is the first time. I did put this in a budget to go to it, but obviously we said the budget, we want to be as lean as possible. So I don't want to do it without bringing it to you guys. Again, I'll be honest, I'm indifferent about this. I do think it's a great opportunity for Jacksonville to get out there and learn about what's going on in the industry. And I think conferences are good from that perspective. I think they're something that we should be attending, but I do understand the cost restrictions right now. So I did a kind of a breakdown. This is just estimations based on what I've seen so far. Estimated about $2,500, $2,600 to go. Early bird registration is open right now, and VEPSA is doing a bulk purchase of all registrations on our behalf. So we have to know very soon. I want to say they told us by mid-March. We have to know if we're going to be going or not. So I wanted to put it out there.
And that's the bulk registration fee.
Yeah, that's the bulk registration.
Is this a 1 day?
This is a 3-day.
Oh,
It's actually it's a 6-day. I'm only going for 3 days. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
what the heck?
7
do I have
day.
to talk about?
And I am suggesting that I go Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, and then come back Wednesday. So
What do you-
4 day. 4 day, just because Sunday is just travel to get down there for an 8 o'clock start on some Wednesday.
Any of this gonna be on this Zoom thing?
Do you get to pick? Do you know what you're gonna be like? The session,
Yeah, I can.
The
I have
sessions
the
for those
sessions.
days?
I mean, keep in mind this is the national one, so it's more industry, where the industry is moving. A lot of talk on batteries, a lot of talk on solar. Nuclear was huge at NEPA last year, and I'm sure it's going to be very large here. A lot of discussion about emergency response and flooding, that kind of things and coordination. I do have the full, I can pull it up. You guys want to see the full breakdown. Financials, I know is a big part.
Or something you can.
Yeah, I can email it out. Yep.
I'll kind of Google it.
Yeah, I'll email it out tonight so you guys have it.
When do you need to know?
I can find out tomorrow if they have officially given us a deadline. I want to say they said mid-March, so next week sometime.
So we're not gonna meet again.
We're not
in
meeting
April.
again. It's
Well,
unless you do
unless we do a special meeting,
So,
which we already kind of showed interest for.
yeah, but does this need a motion?
No. So this is a budgeted item. It is approved in the budget. This is something that I want to get your feedback as to whether you feel it's worth me attending or not.
So it's approved in the budget, but it could also be a VEPSA payment at 2,500.
I don't know. Yeah, probably. It probably would be.
If you
It
don't-
probably would be a VEPSA payment because they're registering on our behalf. So yeah, I probably would go to.
Well,
Towards
I
the
think, I
principal.
think she's talking about the 600,000.
Oh,
Towards the principal.
yes, it could be,
Having
yes.
this money that's set aside
Correct.
go towards a good faith payment.
Correct.
And not a good faith payment, but
Well, also,
to
well,
make a
what-
motion.
Oh,
You're making an effort to make a payment. An additional payment.
this seems to me to be the kind of thing that VEPSA would go to and come back to us with the information. I'm, I mean, they're asking all members to attend. So they're feeling like there's
well,
something that,
it kind of sounds like, sort of like the workshop that I had to do for the library, right after Irene. Well, multiple workshops. It was like a convention. And I'm thinking if we have a special meeting, we, can really get through all of what the roles are.
you wanna talk
And-
about this?
Well, yeah. And after looking at what workshops they have at this convention, if and what workshops would be best utilize using James's time if he doesn't going to that for the 4 days,
3 days.
3 days, because Sunday's the travel time. Yeah. Like based on what the roles are for general manager, figuring that out, and also looking at what workshops they have that could help increase James's knowledge base and
Oh, there it is.
worth for the company.
Politics. First one. Strategic communication, lessons in resilience and emergency response. Lighting up the Navajo. Federal legislation from Congress. Flexible, resilient, ready. Collaboration for your fleet and electrification status. A view of the other side, what large customers want. Opportunities and perils of data centers, a lot of data center stuff too. AI, environmental regulation, public power, what public power needs to know about today's gas market, how public power executives use security intelligence to mitigate risk. Cybersecurity is huge.
Yeah.
So you can just send that.
Yeah, I can send this.
And we could,
So then the other thing, it's going to be the same cost, but there is the NEPA conference as well. I think it's Cape Cod this year. Unfortunately, they don't choose small places to do these conferences. They choose gigantic places. So the hotel alone is $1,000. And I did look to see if there's other hotels. I did not see one within like walking distance. And if it's in Boston, you're gonna want to walk.
Where is it?
E-bike. I can do an e-bike.
where's
This one is in center of Boston, just next to Fenway Park. Yeah, that's why it's $286 plus taxes a night.
There's the Hojo's down the street.
I know. Well, and I even looked at Airbnb to see if it was cheaper, but they're not any
No.
cheaper. They're
No, not
Because
there.
they know it's going to happen.
and actually there's two different hotels. One's a Sheraton, one's I forget what the other one is. And the Sheraton is already full. It wasn't full the other day because I was looking at the Sheraton. They're the same price. I was looking at the Sheraton, but it's full already. So
It's being held at the
It's being held at a conference center. That's the hotels are here and the conference center's like across the street. So they're not, none of them are in the conference center
Oh,
itself.
okay.
So it's not like here.
Yeah. Again, I'm indifferent. Lizzie will be very happy if you guys tell me you don't want me to go. So I'm sure she will be fine with it.
Okay. So, flatland and solar.
Okay, so Flatland Solar, if you guys remember, I want to say it was a couple months ago, we had a meeting. Ken Nolan called in on the phone. I had him call in to try to explain this a little bit better than I would, because again, it's something I'm still learning about the renewable energy standard. And they know it better than I do. But essentially we pay fines right now for not having enough renewable. And so we had looked, I guess, this is before me, I'm guessing you guys remember, about putting a solar project at Sarah Extel's property, up on Allard Road. She has a field and there was some talk about putting a solar field in, and, that was shot down because, essentially we're a 1 megawatt utility. So we would have gotten some portion of that, and then the other utilities would have been able to buy into the project. But the problem is the wheeling charges that Green Mountain Power charges us are so high that it wasn't efficient for any other utility to purchase through that program. So that was nixed. And the problem Jacksonville has is we're too small. These fields, they want to build a 5 megawatt or bigger. We're a 1 megawatt. So we are going to really struggle to get a developer to come in here at any reasonable cost, to do something for Jacksonville. So the problem is we're faced with this problem of we're paying fines because we don't have the renewable energy portfolio that we need. And so what we can do is there's a solar field they're talking about putting in Swanton. They have approval on this project. This would be installed before the federal benefits come out. It was a project that was already started before, so this is the only one they think will make it fast enough. So this is, as I said, Ken kind of presented this to you guys already. You gave the initial, yeah, this sounds good. The developer has put more work in. They're saying, I think Ken told us it was going to be $110 a megawatt hour. Their new projections are $122.40 a megawatt hour. That's just because they've kind of cleaned up their estimates and made them a little bit more detailed. And so what they're asking for is a commitment from Jacksonville to what they're calling the maximum entitlement. So you can see on the second page, there's this maximum entitlement of 8%, which would be the 806 megawatt hours maximum annually. And so they want us to commit that, yes, that we want to do that maximum or some portion of. So as I think Ken said when he was here, I think he said we're currently paying at about between what we're being charged and what we currently pay for electric costs. We're paying about $90 a megawatt hour, I'm sorry, on average. And so this is more
Is that including or not including the
fees.
penalty?
The penalties are included in that at the current rate. Those rates get higher over the next several years until they reach their maximum in 2035.
Now, would that penalty decrease if we're doing this?
Yes.
Would it go away?
Yeah.
Okay. I have,
So-
go ahead.
Sorry. So just to kind of piggyback on that most recent comment, would it go away? The original numbers we were given, I think almost completely went away from VEPSA, and then Stowe became an auxiliary member of VEPSA, and all of a sudden Stowe wants to be part of this project. And if you look at the percentages, they're 44% of the project. So I have a little bit of a right that I'm plugging with Ken Nolan on the the fact that they're an auxiliary member, they don't even purchase power through VEPSA, and they're getting a pretty huge portion of this, and that I think we deserve a larger portion, if we want it.
Yeah,
And so that's something that is gonna play out, but I just wanted to give the heads up that,
we might be able to get more than 8.
I'm hoping we can get more. I think we were closer to 12% when Stowe wasn't involved in that, so if I'm just remembering correctly. Again, I don't know if that's what we want, but I think we should have the option to do the original plan. If that's, I mean, Stowe is an auxiliary member, they purchase their own power. I don't see why they should get equal say at the table for this. And I know Stowe has already accepted their maximum on this, so I am making a little bit of a stink tomorrow at the board meeting
Okay,
about this. I've already warned Ken I'm going to, but just I don't know why I'm the only one saying it. All these other utilities are in almost worse shape than we are from this perspective. And the problem is, I think Jacksonville's at a disadvantage because we can't just put our own solar field in.
yeah,
Or we could, but it's going to cost us way more. So Jacksonville in particular is the one hardest hit by this, because we don't have the ability to really do something different.
I'm gonna ask a silly question.
Yeah.
So I had a friend who bought into a solar
Yeah.
array, somehow was alerted to it. Why can't we do something else somewhere else to help?
We could.
Or, okay,
Yeah, we could, in theory, we could, like we were, I guess, at one point,
I have another question.
I guess at one point, I don't know if it ever came to the board, but there was some conversation about, Purchase has a solar field in a Scutney that he doesn't want anymore. And had asked if Jacksonville wants to be part of that. I don't know what the requirements are, if that's an option. I know one of the big challenges is because it goes through Green Mountain Power, we really struggle with making money on it. Green Mountain Power charges, I think it's 5% on top of all transmission costs for us currently, because it comes through their substation. So every transmission cost that we have, we pay an extra 5% on.
So that was my next question. Why, what's the harm in buddying up with your competitor, if you will, and doing
Do something
something with
mutual.
them?
We could, I don't know if they would. I can ask.
Well, they're doing something with us.
They're doing a metering point,
Pretty-
because it's in their best interest financially, but if they're building, from my, if I were in charge of Green Mountain Power, if I'm building a solar panel, a 5 megawatt solar panel field, I can use the 5 megawatts.
Yeah.
Why would I give Jacksonville, my biggest competitor who I want to buy out, why would I give them incentive to do it? I'd rather have them pay the wheeling charge. And so the biggest, and again, I go back to this whole idea of a battery, maybe some smaller scale solar here. Maybe we can do less wheeling charges from Green Mountain Power. But that's not going to happen between.
Okay, so now I have another question.
Sure.
Why can't some of Green Mountain Power customers purchase something from us? Purchase off of a solar array that we have, not understanding the whole works.
We can't sell power to them.
This is trying.
So with the battery,
Working it here.
you guys are getting into some of my conversations now. So with the battery, if we put a battery on our grid and then we have these metering points, one of the things that is going to be different is there may be times where Green Mountain Power's feeder is out. And if we have a battery on our grid,
They're gonna use it.
they're going to be using our power to supply their customer when they don't have power themselves.
Do they get a fee in return?
So what we're doing is if we get to that point in the metering point conversation, we will be building in a clause that says if we have our own power source or a battery, that we will get this much money, or we will have to renegotiate the contract or something that says, because it'd be stupid for them to just shut their customers off. We could do that.
Well,
too.
what's stopping them from putting a battery in?
Nothing. They do it. Green Mountain
Right.
Power is battery.
They have batteries all over.
But
Correct.
they're not looking at doing it from a islanding
Cross
perspective.
country.
They're doing it for a cost savings perspective on their end. Because because there's two advantages of the battery, right? There's the islanding perspective, but there's also the cost savings from peak load management. And I'm trying to justify the battery 100% on peak load management because it's the easiest thing. It's easy to document. But there is a secondary benefit of a battery that's not even being calculated in anything that we're doing that says we may be up when our feeder goes down, or if a line comes down by the school, you can keep that half of Whitingham up. And by the way, the state does give us fines for having customers out for too long.
Yeah.
We do pay those fines.
And we could be up and Green Mountain Power customers could